How's everybody doing? This is Steve from CNS Organics with a bit of an update. I know I got lots of updates, update. Anyways, this is the big hoop house and some additions I made since my last video. So I wanted to kind of walk you guys through it. I had mentioned on this end of the greenhouse that I had planned on putting in a little sink. It's pretty easy. There's a T at the back. It changes over to a PEX line that runs up so that we have water on the back side. All I've done is just run the PVC out the back for now. I may end up putting in a drip line or changing it up later. But for right now, that's kind of what that is. It's just a little utility sink that allows us, if we need to wash our hands or we need to get a little bit of water, you know, we're good to go. I want to go down towards the end because right now I'm actually filling up my my sump tank. I want to make sure that it's at a good level. And as you can see, it's pretty good level. Yeah, I'll probably let it run for a little bit because I like to be, another inch or two above. We do have the pantyhose socks that I had mentioned before. As you can tell too, that there's additional pumps from the last video. I wanted to circulate probably, I guess my thought process was to do too much water moving through the system than not enough. So I added an additional pump that went over. Hopefully the sun's not blinding you guys. It came up here and for the main fish tank. So now we got double the amount of water coming in. So each one of those pumps is about 1,000 gallons an hour. This is a 1,000-gallon fish tank. So in reality, we're putting about 2,000 gallons an hour of water into this fish tank. And it's got the overflow. It's also got the main outlet. I know that the water's a little bit murky right now. There's been a lot of construction today and cleaning out beds and doing some maintenance. But we have double the input, which is great that the emergency overflow on that back end there that you see, that it's able to keep up with it. And then also the main line that runs, as you guys seen before, I haven't put in my filters yet, over to the grow beds. I also want to mention that I did go through and get the styrofoam from one of the main grow beds and got them all cut up and all the holes done and everything else. I'm gonna walk down here real quick. I did put in one tiny little plant just because I had extras. So that one tiny little plant, this will end up being full. As I counted it up, this bed here will hold 750 plants. And so will that grow bed, and so will this grow bed. So dadgum, that's a whole lot of plants. 750 per grow bed. As you noticed, there was a additional third pump, and I put this in. I know that the plumbing's probably not the best in the world, but I went straight up and over, and then a little 90 down. It's all PEX, it's all shark bite. It's you just push together. Make sure you see the little green tabs. That lets you know that you have a good tight fitting. watertight. And I'm not sure if you can see, there's a T down there, and it goes over to a 90, and then I transitioned from the 1-inch to the 3/4 because this little valve is about half the price as a 1-inch valve. The 1-inch valve was like 20 something bucks, and these were like $9. And so that was a big incentive. And as you can see, it just comes up and over and down into the grow bed. I used some zip ties there. But what I liked about it is this one's the same. Let's go ahead and get on this guy. Is my wife actually thinks it's kind of pretty. You know, you got a little shark bite valve there, and as opposed to this kind of ball valve, which is difficult to adjust, this one here you can adjust ever so slightly if you wanted to. So it gave a lot of flexibility to adjust the flow rates to each grow bed. All these fittings and everything. It also, I'm not sure if you can see real good, but it tees off and it goes down here, and it also goes to this grow bed on this side to add additional water to help the flow rate. This being a 40-foot long grow bed, if I had, let's just throw a number out there, 100 gallons an hour. Let's say my pump was a 300 gallon an hour, and I'm siphoning off and everything, and I'm only getting 100 gallons an hour per grow bed. Well, each one of these grow beds is like 750 gallons of water. So it's not moving very much water. So I wanted to up it up. And I've got, like I had said, 2 of the pumps at 1,000 gallons, over 1,000 gallons an hour. And then also, pardon me, I'd turn that valve off real quick. But also I have an additional 1,000 gallons split up amongst the 3 different grow beds. So I have a lot of circulation. And I believe personally that the more circulation you have, the better off you're gonna be. It's always easier to cut it back a little bit than it is to try to add more or to add a bigger pump and this and that and everything else. Now, yeah, it would have been great if I would have had, one big pump. Maybe so, and in hindsight, that might have been best. But anyways, these are a few things that I've done here at CNS Organics. Added the extra pump and all to the fish tank to allow better circulation for the fish, and then also an additional pump to the grow beds. And all of these are independent. So this one here, I can turn off the main feed, and I can turn off the pump feed and completely drain this bed if I wanted to. I can completely eliminate this bed and everything will still go to the others. So it allows for the maintenance side, if you need to do some maintenance or what have you. One other thing that I've done, which I'm pretty excited about, let's get it back around this way. Pretty excited about is a NFT slash deep water culture slash, I'm not sure, all the everything. I kind of like put all the everything together. And this is a hydroponic, not aquaponics. Whereas those are done with fish, this is actually done with a nutrient solution. And so it's an NFT system, which is nutrient film technique. But what I did was I made it so it's adjustable. And what I mean, let me show you guys. So as you can see that these little these lines are feeding down into this PVC. I know it looks kind of crazy. These guys over here are not hooked up yet. They're all ready to go. I just didn't get all the fittings to get them all done. This guy here, what I can do is actually loosen up this hose clamp and rotate the rubber piece to allow it to be a nutrient film, which is just basically like a 1/4 inch of water or so across the bottom of it. Right now I have it pretty high. As you can see that the net cups are actually sitting in the water. So I can adjust that if I've got little seedlings, like I do in most of these. I've got some kale and some Swiss chard. But I can adjust that just by loosening up any one of these hose clamps and rotating this rubber fitting lower. If I rotate it down, the water will be lower in the channel. If I rotate it up, it'll be higher in the channel. Also, I had made the structure of the table, if you will, basically level. All the legs are the same length. I know that the ground has a little bit of grade to it, but by putting these blocks under here, it makes it perfectly, like almost perfect, level. So right now, the amount of water in each one of those net cups is the same amount. Now, if I pull those out, it will be at an angle, which is appropriate for nutrient film technique. And if I do the appropriate 1:30 or 1:40, which is 1 inch drop per 30 inches or per 40 inches, I can move those two little 2x4 pieces that are underneath the legs down to this end. And now I have an appropriate NFT system. So right now it would be probably classified, being that it's level, as a somewhat deep water culture system. But it's convertible. It's super easy. That the entire weight of this guy does not weigh much. I can pick it up with one arm pretty easy and move those blocks. What I do have here at the bottom are two 27-gallon Home Depot plastic totes. And these I had done a hydroponic system with already before, as that's why you see the holes in it. And those holes will fit a 3-inch net cup, and I may end up doing that and just taking one of those net cups and popping in there and growing some smaller stuff or what have you, maybe some leafy greens down in the bottom. I did add a bulkhead fitting between the two tanks, so this allows me right now to have about 50 gallons instead of only one 27-gallon tank, depending on how full they are and how much water are in the channels. But it allows me to have twice as much. So let's get back here to the start of the NFT system. So there's a pump down there in that sump tank. There's a oxygen bubbler, as you can see, bubbling the water. That water comes out. It comes up to this little manifold, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. It's just PVC. This is 1.25 PVC. These are the little drip irrigation pieces. I found a drill bit that was the right size to make it to where I had to like push them in pretty good, but I went ahead and siliconed them. So with the silicone, it's a watertight fit. The pressure of the pump is filling up this 1.25 inch manifold, if you will. And each one of those lines, my research online said to go with 2, not to 1, but to do 2 lines. So we have 2 lines putting the water in, to where in case one of them happens to get clogged or plugged up or whatever, you still have water going all the time. I may end up putting in valves on each one of these lines. I'm not for sure yet until I get the other 3 run and to see what kind of flow rate and everything we've got. But I've noticed that this one here, being the furthest away from the pump, it's pumping pretty good. It's doing all right. And the one closest to the pump is like really pumping pretty good. I mean, that's just, you know, common sense. You fill up a pipe, and whatever's closest, whatever the easiest route is where the water's gonna go. So once I end up getting these guys over here and all in position and locked down, and I start doing those, I may end up needing to do some type of valve, so that the ones over here closest to the inlet, closest to where the pressure's coming from, doesn't get all the water, and the ones over here get almost nothing. I want it to be pretty even, so I'll probably put in some valves. On this end is the drain side, and as you can see, it's pretty simple. I know clear pipe, these flexible hoses, it is just what I happen to have. I would prefer to have a black pipe to cut down on, you know, algae growth and those kind of things. I took a lot of information off the internet. This guy here is not exactly how it's going to be. None of this is glued together. I can pop this off. All of these are just pushed together. But the idea is to be able to, see if I can get it off here, to pull this guy off and add the nutrient solution without having to mess with getting underneath this guy to add the nutrient solution. So somebody on the YouTube there had a great idea, and I think it's great. And right now I've got it angled, and this guy's gonna end up being about right here and right there. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll need to move it in a different position or something. But like I said, none of this is like glued together. So these guys are working great. NFT system / deep water culture channel, I guess, if you will. I originally thought about doing an angle, kind of like an A-frame. It could go in the middle of the room. And I thought about, well, doing something similar, like a half an A-frame where one side's flat and the other side's angled. But over here, with this being a hoop house and the hoops, my bed would have to start here and end here. So if it came down straight down, I'm going to have a couple of feet on the backside that I would be losing, basically. I wouldn't have access to. I wouldn't have the ability to do nothing with those couple of feet. So I went with a table type platform. So that's what it is. There will be updates on how these guys are going. I know I used a 4-inch PVC. I got them from a buddy of mine, Randy Atkins. I appreciate it so much. He helped me out. I had to cut them and get them to length and everything else, and cut the holes and all that kind of stuff. But the pipe itself, he was able to help me out with. He had some extra. Absolutely awesome. And these little 1-inch Grodan Rockwool cubes, look very, very small in a 3-inch net cup, but they're gonna get big and healthy and everything else. As far as anything else new from my last video, I'm trying to think. I built the table NFT system / deep water culture system. Added the rafts to this bed. Next weekend will be another bed. I leveled that one up. Still have to do that to this one from the rain coming in and it kind of leveling itself and settling a little bit. Added the pumps. Other than that, I think that that's most of what has happened. We do have a lot of babies, and these babies are doing good. And next video, you'll probably see a whole nother tray, if not 2 trays of new babies. But anyways, this is Steve from CNS Organics. I appreciate you guys so much. Please like, please share, you know, tell your friends. This is super fun stuff to build. It's easy to build. It's not that complicated. It's not that hard. I know it looks like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on. It's really not that bad. And you can grow your own food, and it's 100% organic. So you can be self-sustaining, 100% organic. Anyways, this is Steve here at CNS Organics. Please like, please share, please subscribe. And wait until the next time I get on here and tell you about all the crazy stuff that I'm building. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.